Tate defends his NABF Super Middleweight Championship against veteran Merqui Sosa. Friday night fights on the Deuce presented by Budweiser. Glad you can join us. Both of these men have careers that sort of mirror each other with some slight differences. Let's take a closer look at the main event. 33-year-old Thomas "Ice T" Tate has one thing on mind: winning a world championship. He had two chances at it earlier in his career, coming up short against Julian Jackson and getting knocked out by Roy Jones Jr. The high watermark for Tate came in 1997 when he squared off against Joseph Chiunuka. Tate had to deal with a cut along the left eye, but in the 11th round he stopped Chiunuka to win the NABF Super Middleweight Championship. He displayed his punching power in his first title defense, stopping Anwar Oshana in round number 3. As seen here on Friday Night Fights on the Deuce in October, he made the second defense of his title against an awkward Demetrius Davis. Tate was better, winning a unanimous decision. Thomas Tate is the super middleweight champion in the NABF and ranked number 1 by the IBF. With so much at stake, is he worried about tonight's action?
I know I'm the NABF champion, but in my mind, this is just a fight for me. I know what's at stake. When I defend the belt, I just put it on the side of the bed, just leave it like it is. You know, to me, I'm not the NABF champion. That's how I feel. I'm not number 1. I'm not number 3 or nothing like that, because that's not in my mind. My mind is just win. My mind is a win, 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 win.
Standing in Tate's way tonight is 33-year-old Merqui Sosa. Sosa has been in against all tough competition throughout his long professional career. He has 33 wins, and Sosa, like his cousin Sammy Sosa, packs some pop. He has 26 knockouts. He lost his NABF Light Heavyweight Championship in March of last year, losing a split decision against Ken Bauman. But he feels a win against Tate tonight could propel him to yet another World Championship shot. All right, that is tonight's main event. And Teddy, styles make fights, no question about it. Tate taking this quote-unquote tune-up, but Sosa can punch. Let's talk a little bit about the different styles that they present, because they truly are different.
Yeah, you got Sosa. He's consistent in one area. Everything he throws is wide. It's always of the wide variety. Tate is a guy who's a conventional straight puncher. And usually, you know, the old class teacher used to tell you the quickest point to a point is a straight line. Well, Tate has an advantage that way because he throws the straighter punches, and we're going to show you.
All right, so I'll be Merqui Sosa, and I'm going to give you a little Merqui Sosa. I'll give you a little right-left, sort of what Sosa will do in the fight. He'll kind of go wide left, wide right.
And Tate can throw those straight punches right inside those wide punches, and the straight punches get there sooner. You okay?
Oh, man. Oh, you've been killing me. Oh, Teddy, you have been killing me on this series. Oh.
Pay this guy a little bit more money, will you?
I'm losing my teeth on the job. I need combat pay. Let's send it up to our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Orleans Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada for Friday Night Fights on the Deuce, presented by Budweiser. This bout coming away features our main event of the evening. It is all brought to you courtesy of Mr. T's Las Vegas Sports Promotions, the Orleans Hotel and Casino, and Budweiser, the undisputed king of beers. This bout coming away is sanctioned by the North American Boxing Federation, Supervisor Mario LaTraverse, along with the Nevada State Athletic Commission Chairman Dr. Elias Ghanem. Judging at ringside for our main event, Rex Ross Walker, Al Siciliano, and Art Lurie, with a referee in charge of this bout. He'll be giving instructions after the introductions, Mitch Halpern. All right, fans, here we go with our main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the NABF Super Middleweight Championship. Introducing to you first the challenger on my right, fighting out of the red corner, wearing white trunks, hailing from Brooklyn, New York, by way of the Dominican Republic. He weighed in at the limit of 168 pounds with a record of 33 wins, 7 losses, and 2 draws. He has 26 wins coming by way of knockout. Please welcome the challenger and the former NABF light heavyweight champion, introducing Merqui Sosa. And his opponent across the ring is the defending champion. On my left, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing red and white striped trunks, fighting out of the Motor City of Detroit, Michigan. He weighed in at a trim and ready 166 pounds with a record of 35 wins, 5 losses. He has 25 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the #1 IBF ranked super middleweight contender and the defending NABF super middleweight champion, introducing Thomas Ice T. Tate. Once again, Mitch Halpin, our referee in charge, now to give instructions.
Those are the combatants for tonight's main event. Let's take a look at the rules, and the NABF will use the unified rules for tonight's bout. No 3 knockdown, no standing 8. Fighter may not be saved by the bell in any round. Only the referee can stop the bout. Accidental foul, they'll go to the scorecards after 4 rounds are complete. Prior to that, it will be a technical draw. Well, Thomas Ice T. Tate started boxing at the age of 11 in the Motor City of Detroit, Michigan. He's 35-5 with 25 knockouts, ranked #1 by the IBF, #3 by the WBA, #4 by the WBC. We last saw him here on Friday Night Fights in October, a 12-round decision against Demetrius Davis. Tate gave himself a B for that effort, but it was a good effort because of the awkward style that Davis presented, and he will see an even more awkward style tonight from 33-year-old Merqui Sosa, the 3rd cousin of the Cubs' Sammy Sosa.
We talked earlier about the danger in our opening, about the danger of taking a tune-up when you have a world title fight on the line and waiting in the wings, as Thomas Tate does. In theory, there's danger, but in reality, usually they're not dangerous because you have the right opponent. Tonight, it is dangerous because you have Sosa, who's an experienced guy and a good puncher, so it really is dangerous.
Take a look at the knockout ratio. 63% for Tate, 62% for Sosa. 24 of Sosa's 26 knockouts are within the first 6 rounds. Tate, 15 of his 25 have come within the first 3 rounds.
Sosa likes to throw, as we talked about, those looping punches, those looping right hands, kind of like Rocky Lockridge, the real good lightweight champion years ago used to throw. And he just connected earlier. And I'd be a little worried if I was in Tate's corner, because I know it's early to say this, but I saw Sosa find real good distance with a looping right hand that just missed. That could be a sign of bad things to come for Tate.
Sosa has not fought in 5 months. He last fought on August the 21st, a 10-round decision against Eric Holland. Very interesting. Sosa has been in Las Vegas since the summertime. He signed a deal with BAM Promotions, but nothing has really been happening. We were told yesterday that BAM Promotions was trying to get this fight stopped, and they did not want Sosa to participate in it because they were not involved in the promotion, but it was settled by our own Russell Peltz of Friday Night Fights, our matchmaker, and got that squared away, and Sosa's in the ring. Sammy, of course, manages and trains himself, and that is yet another subplot in the Sosa tag.
Again, I know I'm repeating myself, but the danger of being repetitive, a really dangerous fight for Tate because Sosa can punch. If he was just a guy who was a step down in class and he was taking a tune-up, a little different. But he's taking a guy who's been in there with good fighters who can bang and is experienced. Sosa has good height, but you can see, we've talked about this many times, he doesn't use his height real well. He gets inside, he makes wars, he fights close, takes his height away. But he takes it away another way. He throws everything looping. When you're a tall guy and you throw looping punches, you take away a lot of the advantage of your reach and your height because you got to get closer to land a looping punch.
This is the
like that.
This is the 3rd NABF defense for Thomas Tate. You see, in his last 5, he's won 4 by way of knockout. Sosa is a former 2-time NABF light heavyweight champion. He says his best weight is actually 160.
Tate's starting to warm up a little bit here now. I think he wanted to be defensively real careful the early part just to see what Sosa was going to bring to him. And he just started to open up a little bit more offensively.
Sosa landing some good shots in round number 1. Scheduled for 12 on the Deuce. Welcome back to the Orleans in Las Vegas. Friday Night Fights on the Deuce. Bob Papa along with Teddy Atlas, Thomas Ice T. Tate, and Merqui Sosa. Tate defends his NABF Super Middleweight Championship.
Sometimes the strategies of fighters really show themselves. You can see Tate, in the first 3 quarters of that fight, defensively real careful.
only landed 7 of 44 shots in the first round. You see Sosa with the edge.
And at the end of the round, Tate started to open up a little bit. He just wanted to be cautious early. There's Sosa with those wide punches. And you have a choice. You can make the miss or you can counter in between them. Experience like a guy like Tate, you want to counter in between them. Because if you leave Sosa around, it'd be dangerous all the way. Both guys have fought for the world title.
Both have been knocked out by Roy Jones Jr., both in the second round. Chapman telling Sosa to calm down a little bit.
Because Tate fought for the world title, as we said.
Put those hands down.
Once against Julian Jackson. And Julian Jackson, back in the days when Julian Jackson was really dominant. He was the only guy that went the distance with him at that time. Jackson was knocking everybody dead. He was back in '92. He went 12 rounds with him. Sosa got knocked out by Jones. 2 rounds for a title try.
Right hand to the elbow by Tate. Sosa just a little bit low with those punches.
Sosa's opportunity for the title was back in '93 when he lost a 12-round decision to Michael Young. Michael Young was a good southpaw, real fast, real talented guy.
Let go.
You can see the shorter punches, the quicker hands right there of Tate. More compact punches, able to get him inside. He can get 3 inside Sosa's 1. You can see a good example of the short uppercuts to the body there. Guys leaning on you, you get leverage to throw uppercuts to the body. Not room to throw much else. But you can rotate your shoulders back and throw those shots to the body. Proper choice of a punch when a guy's leaning on you. Uppercut to the body.
Now, because Sosa is wide with his punches and awkward, when he has Tate smothered, sort of negates what you explained earlier of Tate being able to step in with the straight punches, right?
Yeah, but he can, without stepping in, you're right, but without stepping in, he can do it in a different situation. He can just punch the shoulder snap right inside. He doesn't have to step inside. When Sosa brings his hand back to throw wide, Tate can throw in between the punches. Right there, he's only blocking.
Merqui Sosa is taking the action for the NABF champ, Thomas Tate, and having a very good first 2 rounds.
Dangerous puncher. Muhammad Ali also stopped Ron Lyle. But if that was the elevator fight for all the knocks and downs, then the Archie Moore, Von Durrell fight of '58, that must have been the yo-yo fight. Because Archie Moore, the great, late Archie Moore, was down 3 times in the first round, came back and knocked out Durrell in the 11th round. That's character, that's talent, that's endurance, that's great.
Well, what do you make so far, Teddy, of the first 2 rounds of this fight? It seems like Merqui Sosa has taken the fight to Tate. He's been more accurate. He's landed the more meaningful shots. There you get a look. Actually, for Tate in round number 2, he did land 13 shots compared to the 7 in the first round, but Sosa again with the edge.
You have an example, if you have a guy who has a title fight on the line with Tate, in a couple months he's mandated to fight for the title by April 24th, I believe is the mandated date, and he has that in the wings, that risking, and Sosa has something maybe more important risking, his whole career. His whole career is in the balance right here. He's lost 2 of his last 3 fights. This is do or die for him. And he's a dangerous guy to be taken for a fight in between a title fight. Because of that energy, because of that necessity, and because of the experience and the power.
Both men are 33. 42 fights for Sosa, 40 for Tate. A lot of similarities between these two, except the perception is that Tate is on the upswing and Sosa's on the downside.
Stop, watch your head,
One thing Tate is doing wrong is he's just blocking the punches. He's got to start pot shotting in between.
2 rounds to zip in favor of Sosa.
Okay, let's go, come on.
On Teddy's card and mine as well.
Sosa's the kind of puncher that even when you block the punches, if he can hit you around the tempo, behind the ears, on top of the head, he can hurt you. Old-time guys like Bob Satterfield, they used to hit you on top of the head and fracture your ankles.
And there's that awkward style of Sosa. Tate really hasn't figured it out yet.
That's one of the things he brings to the table, too. He's an awkward guy. He throws punches from all different angles. We had an awkward guy last week that won. Vinny Pazienza.
Nice combination by Sosa. Right hand by Sosa.
We can see an upset, but how much of an upset is it? Would you be that surprised when you know a guy like Merqui Sosa, as experienced he is, that he beats a guy who's a #1 contender? No, Merqui Sosa's been in world title fights. He's been in there with world caliber opposition.
I still think it would be a little bit of a surprise. I'd be a little bit surprised if Sosa does win this fight.
Well, he's been on the downside. There's no doubt about that. That's why it's so dangerous, because as I just said, his whole career is in a balance here.
Tate missing, Sosa scoring through the first 3 rounds of the scheduled 12-round bout. Welcome back to Las Vegas. Bob Papa along with Teddy Atlas. We talk about mirror, mirror, Thomas Tate and Merqui Sosa. You take a look at their career resume. The rounds are virtually even. Rounds per fight, championship fights, 12-round bouts. You see Tate has 6, Sosa has 5, although Sosa's just 1 and 4. Both lost to Roy Jones Jr. Very, very interesting. So a lot of similarities in Thomas Tate with a cut along the left eye from a clash of heads, an accidental foul. So we'll keep our eye on that. Remember, under unified rules, that this bout would be stopped before the 4th round is complete. It would be a technical draw, and Tate would keep his title.
The bleeding is under control. It is over the eye, but you can see right now it's not a problem.
There are the punch numbers through 3 rounds, and only 5 landed shots by Tate, power punches, in the bout so far. You see Sosa has been the more effective in that category as well.
Mark Ratner, a real solid commissioner here of this state, was good enough to come over and let us know that it was a headbutt. You see Merqui Sosa gets low in there. Tate's there, the heads do come together.
All right, Teddy, you're working the Tate corner. What are your instructions now to him as these 3 rounds have settled in?
Well, obviously, I want to keep him up mentally. I want to keep his confidence. This is a guy who's lost 2 of his last 3, Merqui Sosa, that is. And in those 2 losses, he faded in the fight. So I'm going to boost him up about that. I'm going to say, okay, let's start to pick it up a little bit. Not get caught with those wide punches. Stay inside those punches. Punch inside like he's doing now. Those short punches like that. And then go around the guy.
The right hand started it. Tate missing there. Oh, good right hand by Thomas Tate. Mitch Halpern looking to step in and stop it. Thomas Tate just unloading on Merqui Sosa. Sosa with a few answers.
He's come back, otherwise the referee's real close. He's doing his job, the ref. He's trying to let Sosa know, I'm close here, buddy.
He nearly stepped in and stopped it when Sosa was in the corner. Merqui says he's okay, and he clowns around for Tate.
Sosa has always shown great ability to recover throughout his career. I don't know how long he's going to be able to keep it up, because it's like banging a wall. It starts to chip away after a while. It starts to crack, but he's always been able to recover. How about those great fights with Prince Charles Williams, the former light heavyweight champ? He was in trouble and he came back.
Well, Sosa led with his head on Tate, and Mitch Halpern picked that up in a hurry. He was very close to stepping in and stopping it. Now it's Sosa with some shots of his own.
Yeah, the referee used good judgment, good professionalism, was confident in his own ability, not worried about being challenged about it, and he did the right thing so far.
Well, Merqui Sosa really dominated the first 3 rounds. Thomas Tate with a strong round 4, but Sosa has had some answers late in this round. Right hand by Tate found the mark. Blistering bombs in round number 4, mostly thrown by Thomas Tate.
Well, he needed a big round to come back after losing the first 3, and he got it. He put them together. Nice, short, concise punches. Kept Sosa defensive, and I have to give credit to Mitch Halpern, the referee. He did almost as good a job as Tate did by staying close, but not panicking, and giving Sosa a chance to recover and be in this round here.
You saw Mitch lean in. He nearly stepped in, but Sosa threw a couple of punches and kept Halpern away. And Sosa had some answers later in the round, but a big round number 4 for Thomas Tate.
I brought him back in the fight because I made it a 10-8 round. I have a 38-37 now. Brought him right back. I still have Sosa ahead because of the first 3 rounds.
I said I only gave Tate a 10-9 because I thought that Sosa did enough after that big sequence to at least stabilize the round a little bit.
Little swelling under the left eye. If Tate is still early enough for that to get worked, they're going to have to really pay attention to that in the corner. You gotta, especially with what's happened in the recent past with the Freddie Mayweather fight, the Tua Rothman fight, where people question how quick the fights will stop. Mitch Halpern showed that you can stay in there, use good judgment, and not do the wrong thing, but still not do the wrong thing and stopping the fight too early. Give a guy a chance. Use your professional judgment. He did that there. There's been a lot of fights that if fights were stopped when there was a lot going on, you wouldn't have been able to see that guy come back and have a career or win a fight. How about Arturo Gatti? How many fights are his?
All right.
Well, right on the edge of the cliff.
And remember, Mitch Halpern unfairly was criticized in that first Holyfield-Tyson fight. You know, about Evander Holyfield kind of leading with his head and so on and so forth.
He wasn't criticized by me,
no.
And he wasn't criticized by any responsible people. I think he was criticized by Tyson people. What a game guy this Sosa. I mean, taking that punishment, comes back. Reminds you guys like Matthew Saad Muhammad years ago, the terrific light heavyweight champ. With fights like Yaki Lopez used to come back. And that's another fight. If you didn't have a professional referee, you might stop that Yaki Lopez Saad Muhammad fight. Saad wouldn't have had the career.
Right hand by Sosa. Didn't land flush, and Tate missed with his counter.
See, Merqi's gonna live. You know that old saying, live by the sword, die by sword? Well, you live by the wide punch, and you get beat by the short punch. And he's gonna keep, he knows no other way. Everything wide. Tate has to counter in between, though, because he can't keep giving him second and third shots, because Sosa is too game, too durable, and too dangerous. You have to take advantage of the misses. We always say that. Trainers always say that, but in this fight, it's really, really important. Tate cannot give Sosa second and third shots. You throw a wide punch, he's got to punch in between.
We come to the end of round number 5. Very intriguing bout. Thomas Tate and Merqui Sosa. Well, when you have a guy named Sosa in action, you expect a slugfest. The cousin of Sammy Sosa, Merqui Sosa, taking on Thomas Tate for the NABF Super Middleweight Championship. Tate with an IBF title shot waiting in the wings as well. In a tough battle. Round number 4, a big round for Tate, but in the other rounds, well, you got to give Sosa a lot of credit, and Sosa backing up Tate.
Boy, he came back and won that round, Sosa leads a my scorecard, and he's continuing where he left off here. You know, sometimes when you got a guy right on the edge of the cliff, like Sosa was 2 rounds ago, and you allow him to escape, he comes back with confidence. He starts to think, okay, you did the best you can do. You can't do any more to me. And sometimes it propels the guy. It looks that way so far with Sosa.
Left eye of Tate, a bit swollen. There you take a look at the punch numbers. Through 5 rounds, and you see that Tate has been busier, but Sosa, so more accurate.
The fights that I said earlier that Sosa has lost. I mean, his last fight he won a 10-round decision in his last fight with Eric Holland. He was able to get back on track a little bit. He needed that going into this fight. But before that, he lost a fight, a 10-rounder to Raymond Barry, 14-2. And then he lost a 10-rounder to Ken Bowman, who was 28-0.
Let go.
But he faded in those fights. I'm going to say right now, if he's in shape and he doesn't fade here, Tate's going to continue to be in trouble.
Well, he told us he was in his best shape. When we talked to him yesterday, Teddy, I didn't realize you had a chance to train Merqui Sosa. Little known fact that Merqui laid on us yesterday.
Yeah, that's probably almost 11 years ago when Merqui first started fighting pro. It was in Gleason Chip. He was 2-0. Came over to me and said, Teddy, I think I can become a world champion someday, and I'd like you to train me. At the time, I just had some other fighters, and I also felt quite honestly that he already was involved with some people. I didn't want to get involved in that, and obviously I decided to say no. Nice kid Sosa, and a real warrior. He got hurt there with that uppercut.
Yeah, his legs buckled, and down goes Sosa.
Look how quick he gets up. Maybe too quick. He should wait till his legs are on him.
6.
He's trying to get those legs, shake those legs out. You can see it.
Come to me. Are you okay?
He walks to Mitch Halpern.
Boy, there's a lot of time left. 30 seconds could be an eternity when a guy's hurt that bad.
Sosa flipped through the ropes, trying to get out of harm's way. Tate looking
He's going to get stopped here.
touches.
Well, he's got 20 seconds left to go. It's going to be hard for him to survive there.
Cannot be saved by the bell in any round.
He's a guy that if anyone's shown recuperative powers in his history, he has done it. There's no doubt about it. But how long can he keep showing that? I mean, each fight takes a little bit out of you. But you know what? Tate's letting him recover here.
Now, Sosa did land a little uppercut to Duran, heading the corner of Merqui Sosa.
They got a job to do in that corner. They're going to have to put water, cold water on the back of his head. For the nerve endings, they're going to have to really try to revive him.
All right?
Hey, let's take a look at the knockdown.
Yeah, it was an uppercut, a real good place, right uppercut. There it is. He never saw that punch. Sosa never saw the punch coming. And then Tate stayed in position, followed up, and finished him with the right hand. Right uppercut there. Sosa was leaning forward, lost his line of vision with it. Tate stepped in, high right hand, finished off the job, put him down. Sosa really has remarkable recuperative powers.
Well, we begin round number 7. It's amazing because in the 4 rounds that you and I believe...
Hey, listen up. This is a warning in both corners. When I say seconds out, I want you out of the ring.
Mitch Halpern telling the seconds to get out of the ring when I say so.
It's a warning in both corners. When I say seconds out, get out of the ring. Now, let's go. Go.
Both men are obviously exhausted as we start round number 7 because there have been a lot of shots landed. The point I was going to make, Teddy, in rounds 1, 2, 3, and 5, Sosa was clearly the winner of those rounds. And it's amazing how in the 2 rounds that Tate won, round 4 and round 6, Tate was the dominant man, but by a long shot.
When Tate decided to move his hands and be offensive-minded, there's no doubt that he dominated.
Don't punch. Don't punch. Step back.
When he stayed down on the outside, went defensive, he kind of fell right into the hands of Sosa. Those long punches, he allowed him to be effective.
There were no knockdowns in round 4, but Tate landed a lot of shots. Mitch Halpern nearly stopped it, but Sosa answered, and Halpern let the fight continue. In round 6, late, there was an uppercut that sent Sosa down.
Tate has done his best work when he's in pretty close quarters, when he's close enough to move his hands.
Teddy, you have a dead even because in that round 4, you made it a 2-point round in favor of Tate, even though there wasn't a knockdown. I have Sosa up 57-56.
Frames of thought with fighting a guy with long arms. And an awkward guy like Sosa. You can fight him in close and take away those long arms. Punch inside those long arms. Negate those long arms. Or you can be all the way on the outside. All the way on the outside. But you can't be a little bit on the outside like Tate was sometimes. Because you allow the distance those long arms need to be effective.
Sosa trying an uppercut.
Nothing else, it's remarkable that this man has recovered after falling the way he fell in the last round. He's got some loose tape on the right glove of Sosa, and that might cause Halpern at the right time to step in and have the tape and give a little bit of a rest. Although Sosa looks like he's recovered fine, and even though you would think he might need the rest, he hasn't shown any real ill effects. Which is pretty remarkable, especially in the kind of wars he's been in his career. And one after another.
Right hand by Sosa, and then a right by Tate sends Sosa down.
And a good counter right hand. Sosa was throwing wide punches as Tate was stepping back. He threw a counter right hand.
I think Sosa's okay after that one. He was more upset that he got caught.
You know why he's okay? He was able to see the punch.
Sosa goes down again here in round 7, but he's still going toe-to-toe with Thomas Tate. Good action from Las Vegas.
Well, there's Ralph Gianni from Germany, former super middleweight champion of the world. And Germany, boxing's real big over there. He's one of the guys that's a big attraction over in Germany, along with guys like Darren Messerschewski. And boxing is pretty hot over in Germany, and he possibly could be a future opponent of a guy like Roy Jones Jr. So you can make money over there in the European market.
Tell you what, hot action here in Las Vegas tonight. Thomas Tate and Merqui Sosa Sosa knocked down in round 6, knocked down in round 7. But Teddy, you did not make it a 10-8 round in round 7 in favor of Tate. Why?
I didn't, because I thought that Sosa was, you got to use your decision, your judgment the same way as a referee in stopping a fight. Don't just stop it. You got to look and use your sense and your instinct. I just felt that Sosa was winning that round till he got dropped. He got dropped, no doubt about it. He got up, he went right after the guy, won the last little part of the round. Therefore, I'm going to use my judgment. Doesn't mean I'm right. I'm going to make it 10-9. It wasn't like he was being dominated before that one clean punch. The left eye of Tate is starting to bother him a little bit. It's flowing a little bit more freely now. The cut has gotten a little worse from those looping right hands like that. See, the cut is back on the eye, so the straight right hand that normally you want a guy that's forward might not land. But the long kind of punch, like that long right hand, probably lands because it's wide. So it serves Sosa well in this situation. And you can see Tate was rubbing at it a little bit, trying to keep the blood out of there.
Hey, break, step back in there. I want a full step back.
I don't think Thomas Tate, in his heart of hearts, expected this kind of battle with Sosa.
He's a real pro. He's a consummate pro. I don't know exactly if he expected this, but he expected something. This guy is no new kid on the block. No, naive babe here.
Right. I just don't think he expected to get as busted up as he's been.
Well, that's another thing that comes into play. Does he recover in time to take advantage of that mandatory? Especially at the date that they're talking about. Does it have to be changed?
Right hand by Sosa.
That's if he wins here.
Tate answers back, but Sosa landing the better punches here in round 8.
Well, Tate has been dangerous in spots. Where Sosa sometimes was controlling action and then sometimes got lulled to sleep a little bit. But a good round for Sosa, a good workman-like round. Nothing real pretty, just plenty of guts and throwing punches.
Now, going to the right. Blow. Jab going to the right. Don't stay in front of it. Jab going to the right. With some grease. Throw down. No doubt, team. Gotta keep turning, team.
That cut came from an accidental headbutt in round 3.
What they're using there for people that wonder what they're using, those are swabs with adrenaline on them. They put the adrenaline, first they clean it off, they put the adrenaline in there, then they put pressure to allow it to coagulate, and then they put Vaseline over it to try to make the punches slide off and to keep the adrenaline in.
Well, here are the reigning super middleweight champions, Frank Lyles, who Sosa has lost to, Sven Otke, the IBF champion. He beat Charles Brewer. That's who Thomas Tate has up next.
There's been many times, we talked about it at the opening, been many times when guys have had world title fights in the wings. They've taken tune-ups and no more world title fight. Right now I have it 75-75.
I have Sosa ahead by a point. Interesting, because in round 4 there were no knockdowns. He made it 10-8 for Tate as he scores with a couple of right hands. Sosa answers back.
Yeah, he got caught and he came right back punching. Caught Tate a little bit because Tate was admiring his handiwork a little bit. Don't wait for the receipt.
Expense it later. Sosa blocking those shots and he scores with a left.
See, he hurts you with unconventional punches, top of the head, all over. Boy, the crowd loves this fight. This is a typical Merqui Sosa fight. I mean, he had 2 of these fights with Prince Charles Williams. I mean, they were unbelievable fights.
Well, the right hand has been effective for Sosa, but now in this round, it's the left hook. The left hook in round number 9 has been the key for Merqui Sosa. Maybe Tate a little overprotective of that cut on the left eye, expecting right hands, and Sosa's changing up and going with the left.
sure plenty of people remember the fight that I've been alluding to. Prince Charles Williams, the former light heavyweight champion, back in January 13th of '95. I mean, it was so brutal that the referee stopped both fighters in the 7th round. They couldn't continue. That's how brutal it was. Then they had a rematch, and in the rematch of June of '95, with the NABF title on the line, then Sosa was able to stop. Williams.
Well, in that first Williams fight, when they did stop it, Sosa was ahead on all 3 judges' scorecards. And that's why he had the win and the light heavyweight title.
In other words, Sosa's used to fights like this. Yeah. Has Tate been in fights like this? Don't get me wrong, Tate's been a real experienced guy. But has he been in these kind of fights?
Blood from the mouth of Tate. Left eye is swollen. There's a cut along the left eyebrow. Merqui Sosa using a very effective left hook in round 9.
Both these guys deserve to have a world title bout at least for one day. They do.
Tate trying to answer. It has been better than advertised.
In a war like this, you would expect give and take on both sides, and you got it. There you got the right hand delivered by the jab, puts them together by Tate, but Sosa comes right back with counters, and it gave Tate something to think about a little bit.
In round number 9, Merqui Sosa went to the left hook, and he scored repeatedly with it.
You know, he's captured, I don't know who he's captured on the scorecards, but he's captured the crowd here. Sosa has. You can hear them chanting Sosa.
We'll take a look at punch numbers in round 9. Just the 9th round. And you see Sosa landing 42 of 60 punches, 70%.
Let go. Hey, go.
You see both men get tangled up. I think from exhaustion, Teddy. I think they're both very tired.
I got to say, the way Tate fell there head first, he looks like he is exhausted.
You do it again. Keep the shape. The corner. Keep this fight clean.
It almost looked like Sosa is the fresher guy. You wouldn't think that with the knockdowns he's suffered and the punishment that he's taken.
Sosa knocked down in round 6 and round 7, although in round 7, he was winning the round for the most part. Just got caught with a short right hand.
A lot of the zip is off the punches now at Tate. He's just throwing that jab off, trying to establish the outside, trying to box his way. Not a lot of zip.
Teddy's scorecard through 9. 85-84 Sosa. I have it 86-84 Sosa.
If you were a bet man, you'd put the gun to my head right now. I'd have to say anything can happen. He's been down. But I'd have to say that here's some real good shots here.
Tate with the right hands.
You know, you'd have to say that Sosa's a guy that, after everything he's absorbed, he's got to, you got to like his chances here.
Step back.
I think Sosa's just waiting to counter off one of those wild rights. I'm not going to say I sense desperation from Tate, but you kind of get the feeling he knows he's in a little bit of trouble.
Oh, he had to know it. He'd be the only guy who didn't know. How could he not know? He's cut over the left eye. He's got a monster in front of him who never stops coming. It's like having a, 800-pound gorilla there. Oh, there's another knockdown. The way that Sosa's laying there, this might be the last one. He's not getting up.
That's it. Right to the temple. And Merqui Sosa stopped in round number 10.
Listen, don't get me wrong. This has been great theater, and you love the heart of Sosa, but you got to worry about a guy like that. Not this fight, but how many of these kind of fights has he had? When will enough be enough? You have to start to worry about it again. Not this fight, but he's been in 6 of these fights.
Thomas Tate avoids disaster, and there's Merqui Sosa. They'll get him up in stages. Checking to make sure Sosa's okay. They'll sit him up and they'll get him on the stool. Let's take a look at the right hand that ended it, Teddy.
You're going to see Sosa was turning, and by turning, he might have lost vision of the punch.
It didn't seem like the most crunching of blows.
Didn't seem like the hardest punches he's been hit tonight.
Temple?
it's hard to tell there, but you know he was late on his turn. He looked to anticipate and turn like Roberto Duran used to do on punches and turn and take the force away. He was late. He got hit before he turned. And he may have lost eye contact with the punch. And Tate was able to get full extension on the punch. He had room to get really full turn and full body strength into the punch.
Now Merqui Sosa with a gallant effort. In fact, it looked like he might have had an upset in the makings. And as we take a look at the judges' scorecards, one judge had it even. Two judges had Tate ahead. One judge had Tate ahead by 1 point. The other judge had Tate ahead by 2 points. Those are the judges' scorecards heading into the 10th round. Send it up to Jimmy Lennon Jr.
The time, 2 minutes, 30 seconds in round number 10. The winner by way of knockout and still the NABF Super Middleweight Champion, Thomas "Ice-T" Tate.